Hey guys, and welcome back to Franchise Nation. I am your host, Moonlightswami, and today I am bringing you guys a prospect spotlight on the defensive interior. So 3-4 defensive ends and all defensive tackles. We're not going to have any NCAA footage for this week's episode, but we will be able to look at a bunch of different players. There are 23 players projected to be drafted on the defensive interior. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. We're going to start things off with the defensive ends. And we have James Mountain out of Penn State, a projected early first rounder, 6'5", 288, 23 years old, 3-4 run stopper. B+ tackle, B hit power, B power move. So he's going to be someone who, I don't know if I trust his block shedding. It could be very good, but it doesn't show up, so that's a little bit concerning for a run stopper. The power moves, though, means that he could be a powerful pass rusher on the interior as well. So definitely something to consider. Next up, we have Scotty Underwood, another 3-4 run stopper, projected mid-6th rounder out of Florida, 6'3", 298. B tackle, B- hit power, C+ block shedding. At least it shows up there, but the fact that it's a C+ is not exactly something that I'm happy about for him. It's a little bit of a knock on him, because obviously then it kind of limits what more he can do. So let's go on to right ends, and now we're going to take a look at Rayshon Bottaford out of Miami, 22 years old, 3-4 versatile, C+ hit power, C+ block shed, C+ pursuit at 6'5", 304. He's projected late second rounder, but he has talent of an undrafted free agent. Yikes. After that, we have Le'Veon Janis out of Illinois State, 22 years old, 3-4 versatile, B- block shed, B- hit power, but that C pursuit is a huge drop off. An early third guy with undrafted talent, not ideal. Next up, we have Griffin Sampson. He could be an interesting player to take. A 3-4 run stopper, projected early fourth rounder at 21 years old. At Wake Forest, 6'4", 315, B- tackle, B- block shed, C+ hit power. Definitely someone who can get off blocks on that defensive interior. Could be an interesting player for us in the mid-4th round, or in the 4th round. On to defensive tackles. We have the number one player on the board, a late first rounder, Barry Nugent out of Auburn. B+ block shed, B+ pursuit, B- power moves. That's a balanced player. He's going to be an excellent player on the defensive interior. Based on this, he'll probably have around maybe 81, 82 power moves, probably around 87, 88 block shed with some great pursuit to him. He's someone who, if he puts together a great combine, could be a steal at the late first round selection. Having someone who's that good at everything on the defensive interior is really useful. Just take a look at what Sheldon Rankins has done for us. Next up, we have Russell Elmore, another late projected first, 6'4", 293, 23 years old, out of Wisconsin. B block shed, B pursuit, C+ tackle. Not as good. I think there's a pretty clear drop-off between the two, but I think Russell Elmore is still a very good player. That B block shed is going to be useful for run-stopping situations. And if he still has that late first talent, I would assume that his pass rush move should at least be decent. Next up, we have Jeffrey Durham, 21-year-old prototype, out of LSU. C+ hit power, C+ pursuit, C tackle. Projected mid-second rounder, but with 5th round talent. I don't know if he's someone who we'd be willing to go after. The age is definitely something good, but he has a long way to go. Definitely a raw player. Next up, we have Eldrin Woods, who is a nose tackle, 6'7", 334, out of Oklahoma, 23 years old. B- pursuit, B- tackle, C+ hit power. Projected mid-second rounder, talent undrafted, but 6'7" is huge, man. That would be so great to have someone of his size up the middle. Just, we're not going to take him because of his true talent, but still. Next up, it's Trey Gibson, 6'3", 295, at 23 years old, out of Ohio State. He's a pass rusher with C+ power move, C+ tackle, B- pursuit. A late second rounder with mid-5th round talent. Definitely an interesting player. Tavarius Avant, out of Clemson, another nose tackle, 6'5", 314. Doesn't really show anything that is useful to us. No block shed, no pass rush moves. That's a little bit disconcerting. A late 7th round talent for him. Might as well be an undrafted free agent type guy. Next up is Sheldon Cummings out of Louisville, another prototype. B- hit power, C+ power move, C tackle. So The fact that he's a prototype, if he can have a good burst off the line of scrimmage, he could be a really useful player. But the early 3rd round mark for him is a pretty high, a little steep with a 5th round talent. Next up, we have Marquise Mann out of USF, a run stopper, but he doesn't showcase block shedding, and that's never good. Projected early 3rd, but a talent of an undrafted guy, not ideal. Next up, we have Avery Spidell out of UCLA, 23 years old, another run stopper, C+ tackle, C+ hit power, C+ power moves. Late 3rd round projected talent, undrafted, but the fact that we see the power moves, we don't see block shed, but all are C+, is at least a good sign. Maybe he'll end up being something a little bit better than what we see. Next up, we have Nate Roethlisberger from College Miami of Ohio, just like his older brother, Big Ben Roethlisberger. 6'6", 322 at 23 years old. He is a nose tackle, B- hit power, B- pursuit, C+ tackle. Late 3rd rounder, early 5th round projected. Not sure if we'd want him, but he's a big-bodied guy going to his older brother's school as well. Next up, we have Kevin Sidney, who is a projected early 4th rounder, but with an early 3rd round talent grade. 6'3", 307, 22 years old out of Louisville. He's a prototype. C+ power, C+ tackle, C power moves. So he does show that he is better than what he's projected at, but I still have some doubts based on his grades. I'll have to see if he blows us away at the combine. Alright, next up we have Kenny Beckett out of West Virginia, a late 4th round projected undrafted talent, run stopper. 21 years old, 6'5", 314, B- tackle, C+ hit power, C pursuit. Not ideal. I mean, he'll make some tackles, but he has a long way to go as well. Next up we have Russell Sharp, another 21-year-old, but this is an interesting one. He's projected late 5th guy, and he does have late 5th talent. He's 21 years old out of Oklahoma, and he's a balanced type of defensive tackle. Will light in the frame, 286 at 6'3". B- hit power, C+ pursuit, C+ power moves. That really provides an opportunity to be explosive up the middle. His weight plus that, he might end up being projected to be a better 3-4 defensive end than a 4-3 DT. But either way, I think Russell Sharp is an interesting player in that 5th round. Next up, we have Devontae McAllister. Late 5th round projected, late 7th round talent out of Auburn. C+ power move, C+ pursuit, C tackle. So he's a pass rusher, and I don't know. He's not that good. DeVay Sams, though, looks like he could be a very interesting player. Late 5th round projected, but talent of a late 4th rounder. 6'4", 299, 22 years old out of Arizona. B- pursuit, C+ power move, C hit power. He looks like he could be an interesting player. Again, another guy who we need to look at the combine for, but definitely could be interesting. Next up is Jesus Barrow, 6'3", 24 years old out of Indiana. Late 5th rounder. Late 7th projected talent, B- pursuit, C+ hit power, C+ tackle. I could see him being useful, but he's a little bit old for my liking, and with those stats, I'd like him to be a little bit more polished. Next up is Brandon Weathers, 21 years old out of Florida State. A lot of young defensive interior guys in this draft. Mid-6th rounder, run stopper, C+ tackle, C hit power, C pursuit. Not great. And then lastly, we have Leslie Nua, who is a 6'7" run-stopping DT. 315 pounds, that's out of Cincinnati. B- tackle, C power move, C hit power. Not ideal stats, but he's definitely a huge body. And with that being said, that's going to wrap this up. The next prospect spotlight that we are going to do is going to be on, I think we're going to do safeties. And because of the way that the scheduling works, I don't know when I'll do it, but I'm going to do a double up day for the prospect spotlights because we have 3 more weeks before the end of the season for a prospect spotlight, a Monday and a Tuesday and a Friday. And we have 4 more positions, being running back, wide receiver, safety, and linebacker. So I'll double up one of the days and we'll do that. But like I said, for this, there was no NCAA footage. I probably won't do it for the linebackers or safeties, but I'll do some for the running backs and wide receivers to make up for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Moonlightswami, and we'll be taking on the 49ers tomorrow for episode number 100. Peace!